Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. I'm Amina. This is a shadow day reading, so if you've been to this channel a while already, then you know that means this reading is about dealing with those shadow sides, but it's also about empowering, healing, learning some lessons, and etc. We're going to jump right into this, but because this is a general reading, it's very important that you only take what resonates, use your discernment. There may be some triggers because a lot of times shadow work incorporates triggers. Make sure that you're centered, you're open-minded, and let's jump right into the reading with the first card. We have the King of Swords. Ooh. Okay, so automatically from the bat, what I'm getting from here, number one, you're stylish. You're either stylish or you're someone that inspires to be stylish, because this outfit here is very like, I'm sophisticated, but notice me. So you're probably someone that when you walk in a room, whether it be for fashion or just your aura, your presence, you're noticeable. You're an authority figure. And this is male or female. It says King of Swords, but take it how it resonates, of course, right? It's about the energy. You're someone who can very much get in their own head, though. Right? You can really, like, your mind just spins and spins and spins sometimes. You could be someone who suffers from insomnia. Insomnia? I think I'm saying that right. You could be someone that suffers from that. You might be up all the time, up late at night, just thinking and thinking. We do have butterflies here for transformation. So there's a transformation that could be taking place within you, but it feels very like a wall, like very cold. The energy coming from here is like someone that kind of has this, okay, you notice me, but stay away from me. Like, you see me, I see you see me, but stay away from me kind of energy. Very in the head, but we do also have the owl here. The owl is wisdom. We have a messenger here on this shoulder. So you're someone that tries to balance yourself within your intellect, but there is a very strong, airy feeling to this. So some of you could be air signs, or maybe your air signs in your chart, like Gemini, Aquarius. What's the other air sign? I'll put all the signs in the description, but you could be air signs, right? But we're definitely picking up on some coldness here in this collective. There's some coldness. Ooh, we have the Magician, Major Arcana. Okay. I would expect that because you're someone who's in your mind a lot, and you think and think and think. I wouldn't be shocked if you're a very creative person. But due to the fact that you're also always in your mind, if you're someone who can take a simple thought and make it overly critical, like you over criticize in your own head, that can get in the way of your creativity as well, right? Also, we're all creators. We're all co-creators in this universe. So if you're a person that gets too caught up in blocking off your emotions or too caught up in your own head, you might find that you're manifesting things in your life that you don't want, or you're creating situations just by thought alone. You're bringing in a certain vibration, and it's making it where you might feel like it's always other people, because someone who's cold-hearted and in their mind, they can get hurt once or twice, it's a wrap. Everybody's an enemy, so you got to be mindful of that. You don't want to become someone who gets hurt and then you don't see where your part is. What did you allow to take place? It's not always that you may have went out of your way to hurt another, but what triggered the situation or what prolonged the situation. Sometimes we are the contributors to something. We are the people who co-create a problem just because we get caught up in it. We adopt things that aren't of us. We get these bad habits, right? It's a human, I don't like to necessarily say that it's just this human default, because it's really not. It's a taught thing, but it's something that once we catch it, once we learn it, we have to do what's necessary to evolve from it. I get the feeling that because this character here is flashy, and again, it doesn't have to be that you're flashy in your fashion per se. You might just be someone that when you walk in a room, you're very noticed, whether you are aware of it or not. People notice you. They feel like this person has it together, or at least has it together in their mind. But there's a block here with creativity because of this coldness. Like, you see how he gives you like that CEO, you see me but don't talk to me kind of vibe. So that might be some shadow work we need to do, is break into that creativity. And look at that. This is uncertainty right here. 5 of Swords. So for as together as you may seem on the outside, that block with creativity, that probably also that lack of taking responsibility for how you may be manifesting some of the problems in your life, create situations that make you feel very uncertain. Situations that make you feel like, I don't really know if, can I really handle this? Can I really get this done? Can I trust that person? You see how like there's all these birds. These birds could either be distracting this fox, or they could be trying to tell the fox, you about to fall, right? He doesn't know because he's so uncertain. It could be a safe cushion down there. It could be rocks. He doesn't know. He's too busy, too far on the edge. So I feel like since you're a person that's very in your head, you see how we have the sky here. Sky here, this is both swords. So this is air energy. This is in the mind energy again. You're somebody who either has been, or in this present moment as you watch this reading, you can create so many issues in your head that by the time something really happens in your physical world around you, you're emotionally cut off. That's not a good thing, because it doesn't mean that you're not feeling anything at all. It just means that you're bottling it up. You could be passive aggressive. You might be someone that's a bit passive aggressive, where you just bottle, and eventually you'll explode or have a breakdown, right? Because of all of that uncertainty, right? Yep. And notice that this is the first like real emotional card to come out. We have air in the head energy. Even though the Magician incorporates all the different elements, the strong play here is the mind. And now we finally get into the Knight of Cups. This Knight of Cups, you notice how he's staring at this cup, and there's like this, you could either take his face as having no emotion, or you could take his face as a mix between longing and uncertainty. Like he's staring at this cup as if, I wonder what that is. I wonder if I should reach for that. I don't really know. That's that uncertainty again, right? There's some loss going on here, and the loss could have involved, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. The Knight of Cups is normally like a romantic gesture, but the Knight of Cups is also very intuitive. They're very psychic in their feelings normally when they come out in the right setting. So you could be a person that you have strong intelligence and intuition. However, you don't allow yourself to express it right with your emotions, and it's creating a block. You see how he has part of his leg, him and part of the horse's foot is in this water, but it's like he's putting his foot on the rock so he can feel a little sharpness, so that he doesn't get too deep in his emotions. You see what I'm saying? You see that? How there's these rocks at the bottom, and even though there's all these flowers and pretty things around and whatnot, he's kind of like scraping his foot on the rock is the energy I'm getting here. You're someone that when you start to get in your feelings, you do something that can create a sharp pain, or a sharp, what's the word I'm looking for here, Spirit? Just something that snaps you back into what you think is reality. Because for you, being in your head is reality, not necessarily being in emotions or even paying attention sometimes to what goes on in the material world. If it doesn't affect your wallet or living situation drastically, then you kind of just sort of put up these walls to disregard it. But you're someone who the cup is intriguing to you. The cup of emotions is intriguing. You might have been dealing with bad past relationships. This could be with family. This could be with a lover. It could be something platonic. It doesn't have to necessarily always be romantic just because it's the Knight of Cups, guys. But there's definitely been some drama with people close to you. And because the Knight of Cups is here, you're a sensitive person. Not just in a intuitive, psychic-like sense, whether you call it that or not, but also just with emotions. Like when you get hurt, you're really hurt, and that's why you put up that wall, and that's why uncertainties kick in, because you don't take pain lightly, right? And you'll give yourself a little bit of pain if you feel like those emotions are starting to get too high. But that's not a healthy way to remind yourself to be balanced, is what I'm saying here. And look, so we have two major arcanas on the deck here. We have the Magician, the creative energy, and then we have the Devil. This is also Capricorn energy, so some of you might be Capricorns, dealing with a Capricorn. Maybe something happened during those Capricorn season months that triggered a lot of this. But remember, this is a shadow work reading, right? So this is how you feel on the inside. You know, the devil card is the temptation card in many cases, but in this card, what I'm sensing is you're someone who's very much in the dark. Because you're always in your mind and you don't allow yourself to have a lot of creative space. You're a creative person. I'm picking up on a lot of creative people. Some of you are really creative. You could be painters, could be poets, songwriters, maybe, you know, anybody could come across these videos. So you could be big shot, you could be small town, you could just be, I write poems in my little diary, but there's a lot of creative energy here. I'm picking up some of you might be like architects. Maybe that's your job. Your job could be something in fashion or design. But even though you look like this on the surface, you have these uncertainties inside, and you kind of have your foot half in the water here. When you see yourself, you see something darker. You see like a person that is just void of emotions and doesn't know how to communicate with people. There's always distance between you and others. You can't notice. It feels like the candles aren't lit. But notice how these candles are sitting here, and all that's necessary is to light them. If, in fact, the fact that you could even see that there's candles to begin with means that that space, that dark space you feel like you're in, can't be that dark. If you can make out the dang candles and two statues of people, then again, you're in your head too much. And there may be temptations that you've fallen for in the past due to that lack feeling. We talk about these a lot in my shadow reading. The feeling of lack can get you in some ish, right? So I feel like you do feel like you're in a dark space. You know, you might be ignoring it. Some of you are watching this right now going, yeah. And some of you are like, no, not me. I'm perfectly fine. I'm not in the dark space, but that's what you feel like. And you need to realize that there is enough light on for you to light your own candles. And if you're wondering what to light them with, is with your own inner glow. Because the fact that you have the King of Swords presence in the first place means that you're a person that can get imbalanced. The King of Swords doesn't have to always be cold. In fact, sometimes the King of Swords can come off cold because he has such an intellect and such logical thinking that he's more likely to go, okay, not to say sometimes the King of Swords is very black and white. Let's be real, right? Very black and white. But he's someone that can say, all right, if there's hints of gray in this situation, what do I need to do in order to navigate through this? The King of Swords has that mental capacity to do that. And because of that, if it's something that needs to get done like quick, fast, in a hurry, that energy can come off blunt, right? And I'm saying he because it's king, but this can be male or female. Your energy can come off really blunt to people. It's not that you mean to be mean or cruel. It's just that like in your head, it's like, this is what needs to get done. That also fits that Capricorn energy, because Capricorns are like that. Like, I don't understand why y'all couldn't see that this had to be done that way instead of this way, right? Capricorns can also at times be passive aggressive. Right? They can bottle a lot of things up, be sarcastic about it, but their sarcasm is a sign that they're already bottling something that's irritating them or making them angry or upset up inside. So they try to like get rid of it through sarcasm, or they try to lighten their mood through sarcasm, right? We still have air energy here. We have a lot of air energy here, air signs that are popping up in here. These are people who sometimes will, I'm just act like I'm going with the breeze, but really I got all this shit going on in my mind. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. I just heard that song. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. like, but there's this inner spark that exists within you. There's this creative spark that exists within you. Notice the magician and the devil card there. The magician's right above it. You can light these candles in this dark space. You can heal yourself from these past traumas, addictions. I'm picking up addictions for some people. So some of you, due to some uncertainty or some hurtful past before, you might have found yourself in some addictions. And not all addictions, just to clarify, are drugs or alcohol per se. Some people get addicted to spending. Some people get addicted to just being mentally draining to themselves. They get addicted to putting up so many walls that they're neglecting their emotions so much that it starts to break them down. You can get physically ill. If you put your body and mind in a state of stress all the time, you will manifest being physically ill, right? I just saw 444. You have guardians with you. You have ancestors, angels, whichever term resonates with you more. But bottom line is you have divine protection. There's divine protection coming in here. Some of you have different relatives. I'm picking up grandmoms, aunties. I'm seeing like it feels like this person might be an older male, like an uncle, not necessarily a dad, but like an uncle. You have ancestors that have transitioned or relatives that have transitioned that are always trying to give you guidance. And you have guardians like angels, guides that are trying to give you guidance. You found this video because they're trying to give you guidance. So you're not alone. You deal with what were we just talking about? Notice how, once again, mental space. There's a lot of mental space here. This is okay, we're in the 5 again, right? That's 5. We're in these 5s again. This is this 5, this energy here feels like uncertainty and inner conflict. We were just talking about that. See how the Knight of Cups doesn't know if he should reach for the sword? That inner conflict, not the sword, for the cup, that inner conflict. So you might be dealing with clashing with people close to you. You might be clashing with some relatives, maybe a lover. I mean, there's some romantic energy here for some of you, but I feel like this is more so maybe family, co-worker, friends. You might have people that have hurt you because they use these names in vain, like family and friends, but in reality, every time you try to do something for them, it backfires on you. And it leaves you feeling like, why did I even waste my damn time with these people? And you're starting to feel that way towards like even people you meet. You're not someone that lets new people in. That's for sure. And it's due to that inner conflict. And it kind of feels like you might have people close to you that you love dearly that sort of compete with you a bit. Like everything's a competition, especially if you're this, I walk in a room and people just know my presence. I'm not trying to command the room like that. It's just happening. You'd be shocked. People can get jealous of someone they don't know. So imagine how it is when it's a relative, because they think they know you. They think they have you figured out, right? They think, oh, he or she believes they're better than everybody. They think they know everything. They think they're so knowledgeable, so intelligent. You know what they say. You're tapped in. And you might, you know what? That might be what you're using to give yourself that pinch. Whenever you feel like you're allowing your emotions to come through, you're allowing yourself to express, that might be, again, this might trigger some of you, because this is what's coming in, especially when I looked at the Devil card. Some of you might be hurting yourself a little bit. You don't let yourself go too far, but you could be cutting. You could be cutting. You give yourself a quick, sharp pain to remind yourself to either feel a little something, because some of you don't want to be completely void of emotion. And you find that you numb yourself a bit too much. You can be too passive. And for others, you give yourself that quick cut because you want to come up out of your emotions. You feel like if you're about to cry, or if you're about to maybe get angry, stand up to them pretty much, you'll give yourself that quick cut to like remind yourself, I'm not supposed to really feel anything for this person. That's creating self-trauma, right? An inner conflict, because not only are you the person that's hurting yourself to remember to not get hurt, which in and of itself is a mind, like, let's be real, that's a mind twist, right? But then you're very weary of even when new people try to come in. You might not feel, in fact, when I said divine protection, you might have been like, yeah, okay. Because you're not paying attention to the signs. Whenever they do give you signs that you can get out of a situation, you don't have to deal with certain people. Again, his eyes are on this cup, and you see he has these little angel wings. His eyes are on the cup, but he's not really allowing himself to look at the scenery. He's not reaching for the cup. This is kind of like that divine help, that emotion sitting there, and you sort of see it, but you choose to not really acknowledge it. You choose to not really believe in it, right? Let's go to the bottom of the deck real quick with these tarots. Oh, you know what? No, before we do that, we're gonna go into these cards. That's what I moved to do. I'm gonna pull one card from the bottom of the deck and one card from the top of the deck, just to confirm more of what I'm picking up here, because we get deep in here. What was I just talking about? Family and tribe. Some of these issues are related to family and friends. Friends, co-workers, anyone that could be considered a part of your tribe, pretty much a part of, your surroundings. There may also be relatives trying to get through or trying to prove, hey, I'm not like everybody else in the fam. Or you could have relatives you didn't really grow up around like that, and they might be trying to let you know, I'm not like them, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Whatever, dude. You seem like that to me because that's how they all are. Like, you're very cynical is what I'm getting. You can be very cynical. Yeah, I wanted to go to the book to see the key word for this card. We have, be very discerning, use your discernment with other people's opinions. What was I just talking about? Right? Family and friends being either conniving or there's some type of conflict with them. This could, again, because it says family and tribe, this could also be lover. So it's not like, for those of you who are watching and this is happening with a romantic partner, I just saw 2121. You guys might be related to another reading I did, a divine feminine reading, because I just saw that number. And I just saw 2012 as well. So 2012, 2121. I'll notate that. But yeah, you guys are dealing with people who you take their opinions to heart because you're easy to hurt, and you see that as a weakness. You don't know how to build strength on that, so you give yourself these quick, sharp feelings of pain. For some of you, it's mental. For some of you, it's physical. You might be cutting. You might sometimes just hit your hand on something when they're not looking. Something to kind of it's like a tick. And that could be what that toxic addiction is. It's a tick of hurting yourself mentally or physically to remind yourself, I'm not supposed to feel when they give their opinions. But it's not about not feeling. It's about using your discernment. If you have people in your corner that are starting to pop up that you don't trust because of past experiences, those people, even their opinions, you need to use a little bit of discernment, because they're getting to know you as best they can, as best as you allow them. When it's people from the past that have either done you wrong, maybe they've changed, maybe they haven't, but you're taking their opinion as if it's the gospel, as if it's bona fide fact. No, that's not what's meant to happen here. Communication. And notice the butterflies. That could be a spirit guide of yours. You might be someone that sees butterflies a lot. Perhaps you really love butterflies, right? Sometimes when people have a chaotic mind, they feel like they're in this dark world, but when you look at them, when you really like crack open and really look inside, there's all this colorfulness. Again, we do have the magician out here, so there's all this creative energy, right? But we have the communication card. This is about communicating on a higher level. You see if you can get closer. You see how there seems to be this like third eye activation going on here? I don't know if it's blurring for you guys. But this is about really communicating with your inner self, which will help you communicate better with people outside of yourself. And again, we have this transformation. We know that the butterfly changes from the caterpillar into the butterfly. And the butterfly flies freely. The butterfly in of itself is also self-expression. If you're hiding your emotions, you're not tapping into the core of your real creativity, and it's actually creating more of a toxic environment, then you're not tapping into your full gifts. You're not tapping into your full potential, and that's self-inflicted. But when you can go within, communicate with yourself, your higher self, communicate with those divine beings that protect you, whatever name you want to give them, if you don't know what to call them, once you tap into yourself, you start to notice and feel the positive energy that's around you, because everything is energy, right? Emotion is energy in motion. You get in flow. You see how she has this activation up here, and it's like her and the butterfly are communicating with each other, like they have this understanding. So I feel like this is really spiritual. This is really self, about identifying with self, and that'll help you communicate better with future friends, family, maybe even relatives that they could have hurt you and they're trying to make up. Or again, I'm feeling like some of y'all have cousins or maybe even like parents that you just didn't get to know for whatever reason. And they're trying to prove to you, I'm not like everybody else. And you're just writing them off. Yep. Help from above. What are we talking about? In the storms, right? In the darkness, there's help from above. I'm feeling like some of y'all might be brunettes or redheads, right? My watchers are always diverse. So I know that there's a lot of diversity, but I'm picking up on like red hair. These two both have, well, her hair is more orange, but they both have like reddish hair. He's a brunette. This is like the only blonde here. These two have like brunette, dark hair. Yeah, I feel like you guys might resonate with the Divine Feminine reading from before. You might want to watch that. I do feel like some of you have low cuts, both whether it be male or female. You might be a female that actually has the sides shaved a bit more. You have a low cut and like the sides are a little more, I guess bald would be the word I'm looking for. Like, you know, really, yeah, really low cut. But yeah, when you're going through these storms, you have this divine protection coming in here. This is moon energy. So there is some divine feminine energy in here, but I'm also picking up on masculines. Take what resonates because it's energy. Whichever you identify as, it's about the energy. The energies are what they are. And it's sort of like this woman is about to play this harp, right? Once she plays this harp, her assistance comes in. It's like letting yourself actually tap into your higher self, tap into your higher awareness of self, allow yourself to fully transform, and remember that you have help from above. You're never really alone. I keep hearing that. You're never really alone. You're never really alone. Right? This is about having a positive outlook on life. Let's see what yep, we have your positive intentions and heartfelt prayers have been answered. So some of you either pray doesn't have to always be I'm on my knees saying, help me please, help me please. Prayer can be a declaration. Prayer can be you saying, you know what, I'm deciding I don't want to just be in my head. I don't want to just cut off my emotions. I want to be balanced. I want to be successful, right? But you have to come up out of the I want to be to I am. If it's one thing you're going to learn right now from this video, I am is the strongest word and the strongest vibration ever, because it's literally the words of creation. The first sound of our universe was sound itself, and then the first physical spoken sound was I am, and it was done on a vibrational pool. When we speak, we are literally speaking in rhythms and tones, whether they come out musical or not. And I'm still picking up, some of you might be singers, you might be poets. So this doesn't sound too off the rip to you. It might be a new way of hearing it, but it doesn't sound so far gone, because as a creative, you're always tapping into the more imaginative side of things, right? That imaginative energy. But imaginative doesn't really mean not real. That's kind of like what we've been taught. Imaginative is us tapping into higher planes of self, higher states of self, right? There's always help to get through the storms, and not every storm is destructive. Some storms, if you ride the wave, you get to where you're supposed to be. Let's tap into, oop, I hit my camera. Sorry guys. Let's tap into this one here. We have divine consciousness. Well, we just look at that. Help from above. 27. We have 27, 20. A lot of twos. A lot of two combination numbers. But yeah, divine consciousness. This is about the strength you had and how connected you are to not only a higher state of being, but higher realms. You don't just catch people's eye just because you dress well. You don't just catch people's eye. You catch them because your presence. This is what that presence really is tapped into. And so when you walk in a room, that's what people are feeling, whether they can identify that or not. Right? This is what they're feeling. which means you're never really in lack. You just need to be aware that you can tap in like this. And we have that feeling of like a third eye activation. Some of you might be going through a third eye activation. That's why you're watching these videos, because people who tend to be very like logical thinking, I'm gonna tell you something that will probably have you go, what? But if you really think about it and pay attention to your surroundings, you'll notice how accurate it is. Logic can be subjective, my friends, because logic is based on what a person has been raised to believe is logical, and what they choose to believe is logical. You could be a person that, because you're in your head all the time, you're very intellectual, you have these really like, I'm an intellectual kind of thoughts, and yet here you are watching a tarot reading, a oracle tarot reading, right? And I'm not your typical standard reader. I don't need the cards to necessarily explain to you what's felt or seen. That's how my gifts work. But these cards help you see the picture that's painted before my eyes spiritually anyway. That in and of itself goes against most people's idea of what they've been taught logic is. But in all actuality, or what I like to call absolute reality, this is us on a regular basis. And when you allow yourself to open up, when you allow yourself to understand, I don't have to be closed-minded. I can use my discernment, but I don't have to be disrespectful. I don't have to be so disregard of things that are ancient, things that are of the old world. Then you'll start to realize that we are already full of abundance. Just to be in a mentality of lack, it's legit a state of mind that you're taught to be in. Could be society, could be family, could be government, could be whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to identify it as, but it's a taught behavior. In our reality, this is what we're really capable of. We're capable of that kind of wonder, that kind of magic. You can look up into things on a scientific level, on a quantum physics level, to prove to you this stuff already, but let's be real. A lot of those teachers can still throw people off because they like to do this thing they call demystifying. But the reality is we are mystical beings, not because we're fake, we're not real, it's not authentic enough, but because that's what we are. As above, so below, as within, as without. There is nothing that exists in existence that we are not the reflection of. So if you find that you can look at the stars at night and go, wow, they look endless, they look abundance, welcome to reality, so are you. They look eternal, welcome to reality, so are you. Your idea of this physical existence is a taught behavior. That having to rub your foot on the stone to remind yourself, or cut skin to remind yourself that you're in this physical world, it's a small measurement of time in the grand scale of the universe. Time doesn't even exist the way that you think it exists. And you're a creative person, so you kind of know that already. You're not hearing anything that you probably haven't tried to figure out how to put in words or try to think of. And for those of you where this is a new concept, look at what's laid out before you. You've had moments where, yes, you felt something and it wasn't coming from this sarcastic or putting up a wall mentality, and it passed the way you seen it, or the way you dreamed it, or the way you felt it. That was all to show you that someone's offering you this hand. I'm offering you this comfort. I'm offering you this help. I'm putting you around the people, places, and things that you need to be around to get that existence. It's kind of like this hand is saying, will you help me guide you? This isn't about control. Just like these readings for real aren't about controlling you. It's not about telling you what to do, guiding you so that you see all of the vast options laid before you. You know the pros and cons to them all, and you can make the best decision. Letting go. I feel like some of you are in your 20s, because I'm seeing a lot of 20s pop up here. I'll put the single digits that are standing out in spirit in the description. I always put the extra info in the description, guys. But we have letting go here. What did I say the devil card was about? Can y'all see that? Because the light might be reflecting on it. You see those shadow figures? This isn't just about people that have hurt you. This is also like what you feel inside. because you're always feeling like you're in this dark space. You got to let that go. You got to evolve out of ego, evolve out of self pain, self anguish. Like, you have to come out of all of that. You're clinging to something that's not really of you to begin with, but you've adopted it to an extent. You've started to, mimic it. It's kind of like, you ever heard that phrase, if you play a fool long enough, you become a fool? It's like, if you play the victim long enough, you become the victim. And that may trigger some people, but that's how energy works. Law of attraction doesn't just work one way. It doesn't just work in a positive sense and that's it. No, there's a rhyme and reason to everything. Embracing your shadow side, not in the context of these two eras per se. This is more like accepting that this was the past. This is the trauma. This is what you're healing from. Embracing the shadow side of yourself that has put up with all that abuse, has survived all that abuse. It could be physical, could be mental, could be spiritual, could be all the above, but you've survived it. Now you have to allow yourself to break free and tap into your true power and your true callings. And as if I didn't just say what I just said, sacred wisdom. We also have the sacred geometry of life here in the moon cycles. Coming out of, let me explain. Cycles are forever. In the context that you're either in a positive cycle or you're in a cycle of karmatic lessons, where you can go through all kinds of different pains. You'll have like a golden era, and then you'll have like what they call it, the iron stage, or like the dark ages, and just keep going. But there's always a cycle. There's also always a choice. You can choose to be on the cycle of sacred wisdom, right? Which is enlightening. It's not to say there won't still be moments of pain or frustration and things like that. That may still occur. That, in fact, that's probably more than likely to occur, because even though you might be on this higher path, that doesn't mean everyone you come across is. Everybody's journey is different. Everyone takes a while to get to where they have to be. Some people take a longer time to come out of that conflict and uncertainty, right? But when you wake up, your experience in this reality becomes different. You are able, and I've spoken on this quantum leaping thing again, you're able to quantum leap to the version of yourself that is already successful, already has it together. And when people watch you do that, experience you do that without you even having to try, you will encourage people to evolve naturally. All creative, like, again, we're all co-creators, but those of us who are, we sing, we dance, we express a lot in that physical sense, we're those kind of people naturally. We do things that naturally just inspire people because we're also inspired by other people's creativity. Just because you all up in your head don't mean that you don't notice when other people are doing really creative, cool things, right? But you have a sacred wisdom that's guarding you, a sacred wisdom that's within you, and you need to tap into it, right? We have letting go. This situation has served its purpose. Boom. We read that one. Yeah, we read those two. Pretty much confirming what I said. We're going to go to the bottom of the deck for this deck right here. I'm going to pull from them. Ooh. Say what you mean. Remember I said some of you guys come off like you could be passive aggressive? Take some time to clarify what you need to communicate and to whom. I'm not even going to elaborate further on that. I feel like this whole reading piece that together, right? Let's go for top of the deck. Unleash your creativity. What did I say? 3 and 1 is 4. There's that 4 popping up again. Remember we saw 444 earlier, or I said 444 earlier. Unleash your creativity. Putting up these walls are keeping you from really expressing yourself the way that you need to, right? Your creative talents and abilities are your most powerful asset. Why? Because we're creators by nature, naturally anyway. So when you tap into that creative side, you will see the wonders of yourself. Listen, if you are an artist, I quite frankly, as an artist myself, I don't give a damn if your art isn't everyone's cup of tea. Look at the first picture or think about the first picture you've ever drawn ever in your life. Now look at where you are now. There's a grave difference here. There is a huge accomplishment between when you first started and where you are now. And if you find that you go through those hiccups where some of us as artists and painters or singers, we go through these phases where sometimes we're perfect or as perfect as we would, feel. And then we look at something else and go, what is this? Like, how did I revert backwards? Like, what's happening? Because when you draw, when you sing, when you write, you are writing the different periods in your life. You're writing what you are feeling and vibrating from in that life. You could sit and try to write a love song, but guess what? If your vibration is low, there's going to always be a sense of sadness. The words could be the sweetest words ever, but the melody is like, if I heard this melody by itself, I would think that this song was agony, right? But when you unleash your creative self and then pay attention and give yourself props for your creativity, give yourself, hey, I pulled that off. You start to communicate with yourself better. You notice those divine connections because it comes through our creative art. You find that you can communicate better, therefore you know how to say what you mean. You can let go of that which doesn't serve you, and you can get into that sacred wisdom. But you gotta let go of the hole in the soul. Your inner childhood wounds are creating a hole in your soul. So for those of you where these issues come from family, friends, there's blood here. So again, I feel like that's confirming that some of you physically do something to yourself. It's not necessarily drugs or alcohol. It's like you need to see the pain. You need to kind of like feel it or see it, or you need to be able to do it when you're in conflict. I'm seeing a vision of some of you. You might have a relative or someone that's talking shit, and they don't think that they're affecting you because this is how your demeanor looks to them. So they don't really think they're affecting you, but they're getting under your skin. So you might ball your fists until your nails cut into your skin. You do things to trigger out of the emotion that they're about to bring out of you. And that's a part of a childhood wound. That's a part of again, this is a shadow reading. That's a part of yourself that you need to be able to allow yourself to heal from, so that you can notice those divine connections, so that you can notice that you're always protected. Because we went to the bottom of the deck with these cards, I'm going to go to the bottom of the deck with the Sacred Power card as well. And then, I might pull from the tarot. Look, we have Animal Kingdom here. This is, again, a part of that noticing your divine protection. And this is also instinct. Remember I said that the king is someone with a lot of like intuition and insight and whatnot. So this is also instinct. Tapping into that part of yourself. Let's see what Yep. Keep it simple. Stay focused. Listen to your instincts. You don't need to complicate things in your head. Even with this reading. This is a very laid out reading. It might have taken us a while to get here, but it's this long for a reason. Everything has a purpose and a reason. Right? It's like you're this bear and these other animals are the others that contribute to your instinctful growth. Some of these, you might resonate with some of these animals. We have the wolf, the bear, we got the eagle. You might find that these are your spirit animals here. You might dream of them. Okay, let's go to the bottom of the deck of the tarot. Ace of Cups. You have to allow your emotions to flow. Feel. It's about allowing yourself to feel, but not being ruled by those emotions. See, right now you get in your head and you're ruled by your thoughts. You have to have balance. When we're in balance, we're able to feel what's appropriate for what time. Sometimes we need to cry. Sometimes we need to wipe the tears, get up, do what we have to do, cry later. It's all about being able to tap in. But you first have to tap in by allowing those emotions to overflow. Bottom of the deck. Yep. Stop focusing on the cups that are upside down. Stop focusing on uncertainties and insecurities. Focus on what you have. I can guarantee you have more than the 2 cups that are visibly upright. Right? You don't have to cling to that inner pain. That inner pain doesn't define you. But you can allow yourself to cry. You can allow yourself to feel. This is still about allowing yourself to feel. This is 5 of Cups. That's emotion. Go back to the sacred deck. Notice the power in your own reflection. Look at the determination. Again, some of you, your spirit animal might be a wolf. Or maybe you have a relative whose name, something in reference to a relative of yours that you might have actually trusted, or a family friend you trusted. Maybe I'm picturing a wolf tattoo. You might know somebody with a wolf tattoo. You may have a wolf tattoo. But wolves know how to not only, okay, this isn't just about noticing your reflection. I'm feeling like this is, see how his eyes are really intense? This is about that going within, because like the night, the feet are in the water. Except for this time, there's like a divine calling behind. So that's where I'm getting this divine energy from. There also, the moon is here again. Go within and allow yourself to ask for help. Not only from your higher self, but from that divine protection you have around you. Even if you don't know what to call it, you could just say, you know, positive higher beings that love me, nourish me, and protect me, that have been with me. Apologize for not recognizing it. Apologize to yourself. A part of healing inner child wounds is apologizing to the self, because guilt plays a part in inner child wounds, right? Forgive the inner child, because sometimes people don't realize that you've been actually chastising or putting a heavy burden on the inner child by feeling like you could have been smarter when you were 5 or 7 or 8. You know, you got to allow yourself to heal from that and let that go. Remember, let go came out here before. Let's see what this card says. Keep your distance, ask for help. Right? That goes right along with that Animal Kingdom card. This doesn't mean keep distance in the sense that obviously you don't communicate with anyone, but go within, meditate. Meditation doesn't have to all be done the same way. Yoga, do something that helps you to center within yourself. And sometimes when you do that, you might need to be in seclusion a little bit. So this could be, you know, you take a week off from work or something, or you take a week away from family, and you just go within and you ask for help from a higher source. And remember, you are a part of that higher source. Your higher self is a part of it all. We got the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life decided to grace the deck. That's like getting the Sun card in the tarot, in my opinion. That's how amazing that is. This is strong creator energy right here. Yep. Create strong foundations to support future goals and aspirations. I feel like that's about tapping into that creativity again. That's confirmation about that creativity. Right? I feel like that's enough. I don't think I need to pull any more. Yeah, I don't feel like I need to pull any more cards. This may have been one of my longest readings ever so far on YouTube, but it was necessary. I just seen 4747. That could be the timestamp. That could be maybe one of you 47. Maybe those numbers mean something to you. I will play my video and like put all the numbers in the description, but you need to recognize the inner power that you have. You need to recognize the divine connection that you have. Tap into your creativity. You know what I mean? Like, allow these images to really inspire you to understand that these cards here represent the power and protection that you have around you and within yourself. You are never in lack. You don't need to hurt yourself in order to either block out a feeling or in order to feel. The fact you were drawn to this reading means you needed to hear that. You needed to accept that. Right? Any other information is in my description, guys. I'm going to put all the different air signs I picked up on. Also, again, I picked up on Capricorn. I cannot speak in these videos. Capricorn. Some of you might be Capricorn. Again, some things might have taken place during Capricorn seasons, like January, stuff like that. But peace, love, and light to you all. Be blessed. And like I said, keep these images in your mind. This is what the true core of what you are truly is.